Maty, good to see you. I guess how are preparations looking? Obviously, a lot of boys came in late in the week. How are you looking ahead of tomorrow's game?
Yeah, mate, the mood's good in camp, as it always is. That's obviously what we demand in terms of culture, to be a part of the group. And but nothing's, different to, camps in the past. Obviously, the boys that play sort of Saturday nights and Sundays are getting in a little bit later than the guys on the Saturday, but everyone's obviously professional and we go about our business to prepare as best we can. And obviously the session this evening and we'll be ready to go.
I know Craig Goodwin's been struggling with the virus, but do you know if there's anyone else, maybe Arnie can help you out there, anyone else struggling with any knocks we don't know about?
As far as I know, everyone is pretty good.
Well answered.
Yeah.
Maty, obviously this is the first hit out since the pretty heartbreaking exit from the Asian Cup. Is that still burning the boys in a good way, in the sense of, driving you to get the things done that you need to in this qualification?
Yeah, I mean, part of the culture, that we set within the squad is to, learn and grow from obviously, adversity, and also learn and grow from, the success we have also. So, it's in the past now. It is what it is. There's no, dwelling on something like that isn't going to take us to where we want to head to next. So, like you said, in a positive note, we're using it as motivation to fuel us, obviously, moving forward. And, that first step is tomorrow night.
And I think you're one of only a couple of boys in the squad who played against Lebanon, and I think in one of Arnie's first games. And obviously you're a Western Sydney boy as well. There's a lot of Lebanese people in this part of the world. Are you expecting for that to be a pretty special atmosphere tomorrow night at this stadium as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the game without fans and atmosphere is definitely not the same. We experienced that unfortunately during COVID and whatnot. But very much looking forward to the being a big crowd in the two games. I was speaking with Zappers on the way here, and he's pretty much assuring us that the games are close to much being sold out. So it always makes it extra special when you got that there, and we'll be looking to put on a good show for obviously our fans.
Matt, what have you been doing in the analysis? What do you know about Lebanon?
Yeah, I think similarly to a lot of nations in that region, they've got some individuals and quality within the team that can punish anyone, and we've seen obviously in the recent Asian Cup as well. The nations are only getting stronger. The level of the competitiveness of the tournament there, just with the results and whatnot, showed that the standard is rising throughout Asia. And we've obviously got to be respectful of every opposition that we come up against, and Lebanon is no different. They've got their threats and their strengths, but we're confident in what we bring and who we are as a team, that we can thwart any weapons that they have, and obviously unleash our own attacking style of play. And we do that to the levels and the standards that we set for ourselves. We'll go out there and do the job tomorrow night.
And you got a newbie in camp, Josh Nisbet, as one of the holders of the Socceroos flame in terms of your culture. How do you welcome in, and how do you start to indoctrinate him in that culture?
Yeah, mate. As long as I've been a part of the Socceroos setup, it's always been very welcoming in that sense. Obviously, part of the Australian nature and culture is, to obviously welcome your mates and, work together with one another. And he's obviously someone that's earned his call up through his form, for the Central Coast Mariners this season. And you can tell, having met him and having chatted to him a couple of times, that he's a real down-to-earth, genuine kid. And, like I said, he's here to make us stronger and better. And, my advice, to him, and as well as what Arnie's is to come in here and, make the most of himself and, believe that he belongs here. And, like I said, he strengthens us at the end of the day.
Maty, Tom coming back into the squad. Joe's now had some time in Birmingham with Villa. What's the mood like amongst the goalkeepers union coming into camp?
Yeah, it's been good. Thankfully as well, that's always been something that's been good within the national setup as well, especially with the culture now that the team comes first. And we all compete, one another, trying to obviously earn the right to get the call up to play. And that's never obviously taken for granted, and it's always earned, and thankfully we've got a good working relationship with those guys. We try to better ourselves, and You know, even off the training pitch, just having chats with them, talking about their experiences. Obviously, yeah, both of them been recently moving over there to Europe. I mean, I know Tommy was over there previously and come back, and now he's gone again. But yeah, just keen to hear their stories and how they're going. And yeah, they're both. Obviously, Tommy's played quite a few games this season, which is obviously good for him and his development. And Joe's obviously just made the move, and yeah, fingers crossed can do well over there and continue to do Australia proud, and obviously give Australians a good name to help hopefully open more pathways for, you know, the younger generation moving forward.
Because you've got experience in a Premier League environment as well. What sort of advice did you give to Joe when he made the move to Villa?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's so much directed towards, you know, England itself, but my advice always to the boys is, you know, going over there to whatever club is to back themselves. You know, they've been chosen over there, you know, for a reason. They've been scouted and then selected and signed, you know, because of their qualities. And, you know, you don't get anywhere without your self-belief. And, you know, to go over there and feel like they belong and that they can add something, you know, to the team that you know, they're representing, and, you know, make the most of it. And yeah, pretty much just along those lines. Cheers, guys.
Cool. Arnie gave us a bit of an insight into there that most of the boys are available. I guess just start straight up with Craig out of the side. What do you do at left wing? And I guess that also plays into what you do at left back as well.
Yeah, well, you know, is this on? Yep. Fortunately, we had that period after the World Cup that we could try things, and Kai Rolls has proven and shown that he can play in that role on that side of the field, but also Geordie Boss, who arrived late last night. But look, it is what it is with the arrival side of things. It's let's eliminate that and not use that. It's all about, you know, playing for your nation. This is only our fifth game in Sydney in 6 years. And it's an incredible. We've got a huge amount of players from Sydney in this group, and I know they're excited to play in front of their family and friends and the fans. And as I said, it's important that we get out there and do the job.
And you've also got plenty of options up front in striking positions. You inclined to single a striker up top, two strikers up top? What are you thinking?
Yeah, look. Whatever it is, it'll be a system that we can play 2 or 3 different systems. The most important thing is pretty much to stick to what we've done. You know, we've got this one training session tonight to work on to remind them of the tactical side of things. The worst thing I believe I can do is change too much and confuse. And then when you confuse, you get frustration. So it's about keeping things very, very simple. But what I want to see and expect to see tomorrow night is some real, you know, positive things in the final third of 1v1 actions and the boys going for it. And that's important for me because I feel that middle third we're very, very good. We get in the final third, and then, you know, as I said, a lot of it's down to the individual, and that's what I expect to see tomorrow night.
Graham, can you tell us a little bit about Josh Nisbet going into the group and what he brings, and also how conscious are you to begin planning for the future?
Yeah, look, it's great to have Joshy in, and you know, seeing him stand in between Harry and Cam Burgess is, you know, very nice to see. But no, look, he's a great kid, and put that aside, he's a very, very good player. He's a smart player. He reads the game very well. You can see at the Mariners, just even if you're not involved, you can see from the sideline and from afar, watching it on TV, that he's a leader on the field. He's coaching players. He's scanning all the time. He makes smart runs, and technically he's good. So he's not here just because he's a good kid. He's here because he's a very good player, and you know, and my expectations are that he'll improve.
And you mentioned you haven't really played in Sydney a lot recently. How much easier do you expect this campaign to be when you're not dealing with all the things of like COVID and all the adversity that you had to deal with before? Maybe not the opposition, but just the preparation.
Look, I think you learn lessons in life, and you know, the last campaign was difficult, very difficult for everyone, players especially, and that with COVID. But you know, it's going to be a different campaign, and as I said before, there's no easy games. There are I've said it publicly before that how quickly and that Asia's improving, and Lebanon have come out here for one reason, and their reason they've come here is to win the game, and the reason we're here is to win. So it's World Cup qualifiers. At the moment, we're top of the group, and after 2 games, and I expect that to continue.
Arnie, you've spoken a lot about the improving standard in Asia as well. Do you think Australia is matching that pace of improvement?
I don't know if we're investing as much. I think again with the junior national teams and that the pathways can be better. But it's something that I've spoken about obviously with FA and speaking regularly about because it's. You can see that, where Japan's gone or South Korea have gone and these nations have gone, we've been in the game as long as them, if not longer. And, I remember when I was in Japan and playing in 1997 and the chairman at the time came out and said, our goal and our plan is to win the 2050 World Cup. And they had a plan. They've got a strategy and they've gone from, at that time I was playing there, 16 teams, to now they've got 2 divisions of about 20 teams each division, 40 professional clubs, and that's what it's about because, the senior national teams are only as good as the domestic competitions and the domestic pathways. We only can choose players with passports. We can't go and buy players, and I've been saying this for a long, long time, and there's a lot of work to be done.
And just to bring it back on the pitch for this game, you've got Aiden Krustic in the squad for the first time in a long time. Is he the player you remember him being in terms of the last time he was getting minutes under his belt? And do you think he's got the runs on the board to return straight to a starting role?
Look, Vince, I think it's great to see him back playing. Watching him play in Holland tonight will probably be the first time I see him live, and that with a 10 to 15 minute training session, and to see 11v11 to see where he's at. But it's great to have him back. He brings obviously that X factor for us that can change games, and that's important.
Arnie,
Sorry. Hello, coach.
Hello.
Australia is hosting both games in 5 days. You will play surely to get the 6 points, but Lebanon will play as an outsider. They will play to steal some points. Who will be under pressure more, do you think, in both games?
No, look, I think both teams are doing the same thing. They're playing for the same reason. It's 3 points and to qualify for round 3 of the World Cup. And, Lebanon coming out here and, I've shown the players what they bring. They bring physicality, they bring good determination and fight. And we've got to match that.
Have you scouted surely the Lebanon team who I think they will play defensively and they will try to have some fast break. Are you afraid from a surprise in any of these 2 games?
No, I think you just summed it up. I think they'll play a 5-4-1 or a 5-3-2 and try and hit us on the break. And we've got obviously we've got a game plan for that. I've shown the boys everything, and we'll practice that tonight.
Arnie, you just touched on in your response to Vince there about the growth you saw in Japan. You've obviously travelled a fair bit of Asia in your job. Does kind of the challenges you face here as Australia coach, is that kind of highlighted by the fact you have to train this week at a rugby league field? I know, there's not many venues in Sydney, but that kind of speaks to it, doesn't it?
Well, we had 2 venues. We had that and Leichhardt Oval. So, it's frustrating because my passion for the game and my passion for football and the pathways and, the government loves helping the NRL and the AFL and building these fantastic facilities. And I think, if I'm right, I've just read one where Canterbury Bulldogs are going to get one now. But we can't get anything. And but I have great gratitude and thank to the New South Wales Rugby League for letting us train on their pitch, even though there was rugby league goals behind the soccer posts. It was great gratitude that they let us train there. But, we've been talking about this for a long time, and it's something that I believe is crucial for the development of our game and for something to inspire kids.
Graham, good afternoon.
Just again back on the pitch, Arnie. I think if you win tomorrow night, you're more or less all but short of getting to that final stage. Do you look towards Canberra as the game where you might drop a couple of the more inexperienced guys in?
I'm just focused on 6 points in this these two games. It's important. No doubt with a short turnaround from tomorrow night to Tuesday, there will be changes. I think that's one thing I've been trying to do the last 4 years is develop more depth and more players. And, I feel confident in this group of 25 players that any one of them that starts will do a great job for us.
Graham, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Patrick Yazbek, as an Australian Lebanese origin, did he going to have any chance to play against Lebanon? Especially tomorrow, it's going to be a big Australian Lebanese crowd as well.
Yeah, look, he's in the squad and he'll be on the team sheet. He's an exciting player, young Patrick, and he's one definitely for the future. And I do believe that one day you'll see him in the top leagues in Europe. He's doing very, very well at the moment in Norway, and I was hugely impressed with him when he came into camp at the Asian Cup.
Graham, slightly bigger picture. You said earlier, and we've been hearing you for a couple of years now, decry the state of the local soccer league, the length of the seasons, and you've been saying that you've been speaking to Football Australia about it. Are they listening?
You tell me.
Well, I can't. That's why I'm asking you the question.
Look, it's more, again, every other sport gets help from the government. Why don't we?
So how long can you maintain saying this over and over and over again and not getting what you want?
Well, at the end of the day, I'll have my time here, and and I might not be here in a couple of years' time. And then you just want the game to go forward and kids to have a chance. A lot of it, 90%, 95% of our players have to go overseas to have a career and to develop and go further. It was the same in the 90s. But, we're playing a world sport, and our world sport is playing in Asia. And we've got to compete at junior level in Asia and senior level, and it's getting tougher and tougher because, as I said, the domestic leagues in Saudi Arabia, look what they're doing now. Look at the Middle East, the way they're improving in Qatar, and Qatar's just won the Asian Cup. So, it's just a frustrating thing for me, again, is just the boys fly all the way back from Europe, if you can understand this, where they have great training facilities in Europe, and they come back, and again, we don't have any.
Is there a part of you then that sort of wants to do an Ange Postecoglou and say, this is too hard, I just want my same team week in, week out, and I know what the conditions are, I know what I'm up for?
Yeah, I'm just here for the boys, mate. And I'm here for the game and to make the nation proud, and that's my focus at the moment. It's just we've got this game tomorrow night. I wasn't expecting these type of questions today, but the focus is on Lebanon tomorrow night.
Graham, just quickly, you're talking about the kind of support you're looking for from government. There's been some talk about a home of the Socceroos. That might not work. The criticism is, if you've got a game in another city, you might not be able to get the players through that kind of facility. Can you kind of spell out for us exactly what you're looking for here? And is it just a single training venue or it's kind of in a number of different cities?
An office. A home that we can have forever. Not chopping and changing offices from Oxford Street to Barangaroo to somewhere else to somewhere else. I've been involved for 30 years in all these different offices. Have something where we can have a museum, where we can be proud of what Mark Viduka, Harry Kuehl and all these guys did to inspire kids. A home, a headquarters. Now, if we have to play in WA, I'm not saying that, but just to have a home that everyone can, if you don't have a home, how do you have a culture? We're homeless.
Just on the park stuff, Arnie, I wanted to ask you how you approach Harry Sutar, because you spoke before the Asian Cup about how you were going to back him in because he was so important, even if he wasn't playing minutes. post-Asian Cup now, unfortunately, he's still not getting minutes at Clubland. You brought him into the squad, but how do you approach that going forward? Do you have any choice? Do you have to just keep playing him for the national team to keep minutes ticking over to him? How do you approach that moving forward?
Yeah, Joey, I think there's two things, and it's Harry's mindset, right? If you remember, he done his ACL. He played 1.5 games before the World Cup. But he's so important to the team. And and with the size of him, obviously, he's probably our leading goal scorer. You know, he scored 11 goals in 25 games. And he's a centre-back, and he's a leader. But also, you know, in that position, he's crucial, that what we need. And, you know, I know he's going through a tough time at Leicester. I've had a good chat with him today. He has to fix it. This can't go on forever. But what we are doing probably at the moment is helping his career, and by giving him match minutes during these FIFA windows and showing what he can do. But as I said to him today, pretty much, you know, this next transfer window is going to be really crucial for him.
Just to bring you back off the pitch, apologies, we don't really want to go there either. But you mentioned before that the national team is really a reflection of the domestic competition. It's been an interesting week for the domestic competition. I'm sure you're across sort of some of the discussions about the future of clubs. No? No. Maybe not worth asking then, to be honest, Arnie, because you just the league at the moment seems to be battling a little bit. Does that worry you as a national team coach?
Man, 100%. You know, it's as I said, Vince, you'd like to see it go from 10 clubs to 12 clubs to 14 to 16 to 18 and give more opportunities to players or to kids in their lives. You know, it's, as I said before, it's the local competition is the domestic league is really what the national teams are about. Otherwise, where are we going to get players from? And it doesn't just, it's not just the Socceroos I'm talking about. I'm talking about the 17s, 20s, 23s. And if you think about this, nearly all throughout Asia and Europe, all national teams is 17s, 18s, 19s, 20s, 21s, 23s. We're still old school. We're set just 17s, 20s, 23s. So there's a lot of work to do. But, you know, again, we play a world sport, and the domestic league is crucial. And giving Australian kids the opportunity, that's only going to strengthen our junior national teams, which is going to then strengthen the Socceroos. Otherwise, again, I'm not trying to go on, but I had to go find Harry Sutter. I had to go find Martin Boyle. I had to go find Gethin Jones. I had to go find Cam Burgess. They're not coming from the domestic league. I'm just finding people with double passports. And that's a concern.